Okay, right, in the meantime the paint dried. This is the following day, and I've already cut the panels, the yellow and red, the yellow and orange reflective panels. I've already cut them, and using a ruler and a cutter. I didn't do that online, I just did it when I had a free moment today, and now I'm actually going to fit them. And how am I going to fit them? You can see there's a piece of aluminium here. This is from a tea light, and because I looked last night, I looked at this again and again and again and again and again, and I've decided to relocate that ADR plate there. You can see that, oops, I've moved it further down a bit. It wasn't glued on, I just peeled it off and I glued it back on further down with glue and glaze. So I'm going to fit one of the panels, this is not focusing, one of the panels above that, and then on the other side I'm actually going to make a little bracket. So how am I going to make the bracket? I'm going to make it with this piece of aluminium, because if we're going to hyper detail this thing, we're going to have to do it properly. So this is a piece of tea light aluminium, which I already cut this bit off. Let's see if we can manage to get this thing here folded, 90-degree bend, folded by 90 degrees nicely without making an utter mess. I'm going to have to be careful not to lose these, which I've already trimmed to size. So okay, it's a bit of a busy day today. Again, pity I didn't put a white background here, so we're just going to have to zoom in and where are we? There we are. There. Okay, let's fold this thing. So I'm just going to keep my steel ruler here, press that down, and using my tweezers as a lever, no. Use a pair of pliers. Okie doke. There we go. Put it on the line. This is a nice flat pair. We can do all sorts of different types of bends here. Yeah, sure. It's too thin. The pliers don't work it. It's too thin. It goes through the pliers. Fine pair of pliers. Let's get another pair. There we go. These are a different pair of breeks. There we go. These are my proper pliers. Okay. So let's get that in there like that. I'll do it here on the tip. I'm just going to bend that over 90 degrees. There we go. So that's ready. I can bend it a wee bit further over as well. Okay. Now we're going to have to cut that off a bit. We don't need to put a gigantic thing under here. We don't really need to put something, but we have to put something that's anyway long enough to not to be able to glue it in place with glue and glaze. Let's move some things out. Let's zoom out as well, otherwise you're not going to be seeing what I'm doing. Right. So, tweezers. Let's see how much we want to cut off this thing, because there's no point in putting something enormous in here. And let's also see how much, maybe we have to trim some more off it. Oh, it doesn't stay very straight, because, funnily enough, the cistern is curved underneath. So that was not well thought. Ah, not good at all. So what we're going to have to do now, we're going to have to trim it. Yep. See? Thought it would actually be good there like that, because it's... I'm trying to estimate what to do. Because we have a wee 5mm thing that has to be glued on here, and we can glue it on straight. That's not really a problem. Let me think. I'm thinking. Like that. Let's see. I mean, if we make a mistake, we can always cut another one out. That's not a problem. No. So we said that this is staying over like that. Okay. Okay. See if that's any good. Need a toothpick. Not bad. Then we'll only have to paint the thing and get it fitted, glue it on. And if I just paint that blue, glue it on and paint it blue, nobody's ever going to see it. Yes, indeed. I think I'm just going to leave it big. Because the bigger it is, the more stable it is. And I don't want to go silly while I'm gluing it in place. So I'd say that we're going to do that right now. We're going to do this right now, and just let's salvage these. Or maybe I'll just check, I'll do it in the next clip. Just to make sure that this has recorded properly. Or, well, I think it is recording. Let's play it safe. Right. I trimmed it down. There you go. Now I'm going to fit it like that. I'm pulling it back. I'll be able to put my reflecting panel glued onto that. So I could, the best thing would be to paint it in situ, because it would be much easier once it's glued in place. Because, yes, let's get it paint, let's get it glued on. Otherwise we'll never, this way it cures and I'll paint the thing tomorrow. Let's do it. As they say, let's do it. Let's do it. Well, we're gonna do it. Bingo. Righto. Where's my bit of aluminium? Let's take it off. We're just going to stick a nice piece of glue and glaze. It's already in the tweezers. Just going to put a nice wee bit of apply glue and glaze here. Film of glue and glaze, and we're okay. Anyway, terrible news what happened in Glasgow on Sunday the 8th. Fire in a building beside Central Station. That was a real nice landmark with a domed roof. Apparently, oh no, oh bugger. Disaster struck as usual. Let's wipe that off. Get distracted talking about current events, and the result is that then I make a mess. Okay, perfect. It went right onto the mat. Look what I'm doing. I've got a blob of glue and glaze there. I'm just dipping it in the glue and glaze and dropping it on the paper. Oh God. I'm a messy person. Right, that's that in place. Let's push it back to align it with the, I'm aligning it with the locker there. The whole building burnt down. Business, luckily nobody was hurt. And right adjacent to the Glasgow Central Station, so all the trains are all suspended, and good job the station didn't burn down, or the old Caledonia Hotel. It would have been a real disaster also. But the thing is, the building that burned down was a grade B listed building, a really beautiful building. I remember seeing it when I was a kid. It generally had a Walker, was it Walker? Bell Scotch Whisky advert, illuminated advert on top, or Bar's Iron Brew. Scotland's other national drink, Iron Brew. Let me know in the comments if you know what Iron Brew is. Unless you're from Scotland. Then you know. But, and apparently, it's on video. The fire started in a vape shop. And I'm not going to, plenty of videos that are dealing about it, and apparently maybe to do with the batteries, the lithium batteries, maybe the fire was extinguished and then it smouldered, or something else happened. I don't know. There's going to be an inquest, because from what looked like a minor fire, there was a total loss of a building and disruption to public services and disruption to all the businesses in that area, because there's a cordoned off part. That's a very busy part of Glasgow. Really, it's okay. So apparently vaping isn't good. Neither smoking. I don't pontify about it, considering that I'm not in a position. I don't vape. I don't vape. There's the other one, but I don't vape. I go for the real McCoy. not much anyway. Cigars. Okay, so that's ready. So we'll be able to fit our reflective panel on there and the other one on here. So in fact now, I think in the next clip I'm just going to fit the first reflective panel there, so that then I'll be able to regulate its height according to this one here. So I think that this flammable sign here, which I just stuck on with the adhesive, is on. It's on, but not that much on. Tail lights came very well. I have to pick up the amber indicators now, and I might even pick out the reversing light, or I don't know, I might not even bother reversing lights in the cluster. I might add, that's another wee detail I could make. Oh, I could make a nice reversing light. That's an idea. Yes. Let's make a real reversing light. That's smashing. Good, perfect. Let's really do the full Monty. Real reversing light. You know exactly what I'm going to use for the real reversing light. Okie dokie. Right, that's done. Now we'll move into the next clip. Okay, in the meantime I picked out, made a mistake before, that the diagonal bands have to go to the left, to the diagonal to the left and diagonal to the right, you see. So I had made them the same last night. So this is a new set for, this is the right side and this is the left side. And now we're going to pick out these indicators in amber. I'm just going to use the nib. Let's see if we can do it maybe down here, that way I can see what I'm doing. There. Pulling my paint further over so you can see it. So I've dipped the nib in here. Just going to pick out this tiny spot. There. Okay. We'll do the other one as well. Okay. Can't really see the difference much, but you do if you look carefully. And now that's done. So that's indicators picked out, that's nice. Right. Oh yes, they're visible, they're visible, they're visible. Look at that. That's nice. Okie doke. So now wait for these here to dry and put the paint away. Okay. Wipe the equipment. Okay, ready. Very well, now we're going to paint this bit of aluminium that I fitted in here, the support for the reflecting panel, the rear reflecting panel, to make it the same colour as the chassis and the bottom of the tank to camouflage it. And I've also mixed more paint because I'm starting to work on the railway wagon, the equivalent Pecco railway wagon, which is going to have a blue base. That will be the sort of corporate image, and also, considering it's yellow, I'm making it with a black band here. I've been looking at photographs, so the central parts will actually be painted black to camouflage any dirt. So I've put paper tape here, and the filler cap and everything will be painted black. The back here will be painted black, and I'll paint the ladder in silver. In fact, I was thinking to do all these parts in silver. That's why I used white surface primer. Instead, I should have used black surface primer. So I'm going to go over these white parts here with black surface primer now, and apply black surface primer here as well. But this is a parallel job. It's something that's happening in parallel because I'm mixing the right shade of blue. So now we're going to have a quick look at the blue on the lorry, and then we'll actually, it'll be a different series because otherwise we're going to start, there's only a spin-off on a wagon. It is a spin-off. It is all it's all the same project, but the wagon is a different pair of breeks, as we say in Scotland. Right, so let's get this thing here done quickly before I need a brush. Can get my brush out, okay. So let's get this here done together. I've got using a triple O brush because that's the one that's handy, and we'll just touch this up. No surface primer here, it doesn't really matter. I could have even not bothered painting that because I'm going to be fitting that panel, the reflective panel, on with glue and glaze, but we've got paint, why not tidy things up. Nice easy job. I think I've got a couple of figurines that I should finish painting, but no, they're you can see that I've managed to get the same shades. This is Vallejo Sky Blue, mostly Vallejo Sky Blue, 70961, with some, about three small drops of dark blue in Vallejo, dark blue 70925. More or less, it's but I see that, there we go. Okay, so that's ready now. That's ready for fitting. So any other touch-ups required? No. This is all fully painted. We don't need to touch anything else up. I'm sick of it. Righto. There's a wee bit here at the top, but I'm going to put a spot of black there, dirty. Smudge the cap, the filler cap there a bit. Maybe there's a wee spot here that could be touched up there, like that. Like that. Right, that's done. We'll just let that dry. And we'll go and paint the railway wagon. So that can dry nicely. It's quite good. There's a bit of here, it's a bit scruffy under here, look. We need a wee touch up on this air cylinder. Yeah. And we'll do maybe a wee bit of weathering under here at the end, but there was some grey shining through. I'd say it's all nicely done. I never really managed to paint the bottom of the cab because I didn't dismantle everything, and the bottom of the cab could anyway be in grey primer, so but we've got plenty of paint, let's give it a lick. And didn't paint the inside of the mudguards either, but even those could be in grey primer because I couldn't dismantle the front axle. Painting is the most relaxing part of any project, I find. It's a moment when you really, very often I don't even do it on camera because I like to maybe listen to music and things while I'm painting. And we touch up on the leaf springs, we touch up here and there. That's it. We touch up there. Bingo, that's done. We don't need to look at it anymore. Let's see if maybe there's an air cylinder here that needs a bit of a... The air cylinder that was removed. Yeah. There we go. Right. Let this paint dry. And then next job will be fitting the reflecting panels here. Here they are on the back. And we've still got to see another few things on this, not on this truck. Very well, here's another clip of this long-running video. It's the 19th of March 2026, and this evening I am trying to finish off this video by fitting the reflecting panels on the back of the tanker lorry. Too many projects going at the same time, and not enough time because I've been working. What fun. So, one's going here and one's here. And what's governing their position is also the position of the ladder. Now I've got a ladder here, but I don't think I'm going to fit this ladder here because I find it a bit too bulky. But the idea is ladder will be here. So I want the reflective panels to be more visible, of course. But I think this ladder, it needs filing down. I don't know. I've not decided whether to use this one or not. I might use this one here as a pattern and scratch build it out of wire, which would make it thinner as well and more realistic. But a lot more complicated to actually make. But that's going to be at the very end when we fit the rear view mirrors. First I want to get the whole lorry complete minus this. So let's get these things here in place. Now my small tripod, which is less than ideal in this kind of situation, and I was watching a nice video on Partick Hills Station channel, Charlie McGowan, and he has a very nice stand to put the telephone, the smartphone, sort of vertical, horizontal compared to the table to do top views, and I'm going to be getting one of them soon, I hope. Well, I want to get one, that's the plan, because it would be really good to have some to be able to see from the top, because I do so many of these fiddly little how do you call them, modelling jobs, and it would definitely be ideal to show you what I'm doing from a better angle without having to maybe, I would have to prop this up here, say like that. But I don't know, I'd have to fish out a couple of old paper dictionaries to do that. And they're far away in the corner, I'd have to move the layout. Not ideal at all. In this case here, I'm using this box here as a stand to see what I'm doing, because the lorry is actually quite tall and I have to work with my left hand sticking out from under the tripod. Okay, so let's get this thing here done. So we're going to be fitting, I'll show you what we're fitting. those two, one and the one and one, reflecting panels, which you've seen me make them in the previous clips, and we're gluing them in place with glue and glaze. So I'm putting a spot of glue and glaze on my card here. Very little, because so I want to get this tripod, this support stand, telephone stand, for these small jobs, you know, because it's really impossible to get things done to show you. So it's very difficult, and it would also take up probably a bit less space and has some overhang, so I won't have to be careful, you know, not to knock the thing over or put my hand underneath like I'm doing right now. Plus things go out of focus. I'm taking it out here. There, just holding my hand. Maybe you see something else. And also have to work in these contorted positions. What the hell's going on here? Okay, the chair. Okay, my chair. The wheels of the chair were getting in the road with the table leg. So I spotted glue and glaze right there, like that. Very little. The toothpick's actually maybe a bit too big for this job, but there we are. Okay, that's on. I think I put too much glue on here, so we'll just use a cotton bud to get rid of the excess. Glue and glaze is transparent, so it doesn't really matter. It'll be see-through anyway. Even a cotton bud's too thick. There. Cotton bud's leaving some strands of cotton on it as well, which is not good. That's quite nice. So now we'll put the other one on. The other one being this small thing over here. We're going to put it on more or less at the other height, at the other end, but we're going to make sure that the ladder stays okay. Perfect. So I've got my position. I'll put it above the ADR panel. So, but do I put the glue and glaze on the lorry, or do I put I'll put the glue and glaze on the model, because otherwise I'll never ever get it. If I put it on the paper panel, I'll never get it off my tweezers, so I can forget about that. So we're just going to estimate its dimension. It's about the same size as the other one, and I'm going to actually just put my glue and glaze right above the ADR code. Perfect. There we go. Now let's get it with the pointed tweezers. Get it. There we are. Oh, incredible, no disasters. Let's get it straight, if possible. As straight as possible, as we can. These things are often not even super straight in the back of a lorry, getting bashed around and dented and washed and knocked off and you name it. Let's just get rid of blot off the excess and any excess, apart from the fact that we're looking at this thing here through a magnifying glass. There we go, that's that done. And let's see the position of the ladder, which will probably not be this gigantic ladder. That's very good. That's good. Now this ladder will be out of scale on this. It's too big. Too thick, too thick, too thick. So we'll use this here as a model to scratch build a ladder with copper wire, and that'll be fun. Copper wire and glue and glaze. I'll go daft doing that. Right, so that's done. Now we'll see what else I've got. Something else up my sleeve to finish off. Remember in a previous video I mentioned I'm going to make a reversing light, which will be fitted, we'll have to see, it will be fitted somewhere. We'll have to also see where the ladder is going to be fitted, because there might be a wee extra something added here at the back. I'll have to see. I'm looking at photographs of real things. The reversing light will be one of the last touches, together with the ladder, the rear view mirrors, etc. So we've still got something, you guessed it, the number plate. So, number plates. So I have printed 2 number plates, 1 and 2, rear and front, and I'll show you them here on my phone. You can see that they're very, very, very small. We're talking about a width, the square one, under 3 millimeters. Characters, font is about 1 millimeter. I don't even remember what PT that is. And I would have to open a file and tell you. Well, I could. Just a second. Oh, no. Tell you straight away. So, for the dimension, I'm opening the publisher file. Let me zoom in. So, the PT is 3. So, character, what is it? Oops, got lost. 3 and Kibri font. Kibri font. There you go. If you look carefully, up there, 3 Kibri. Right, and this is not decal paper at all. This is just normal printer paper, because to fit a decal here I'd go absolutely silly to do it. So the best thing to do is black and white print it out and just glue it on. No harm, perfectly okay. So let's cut that to size. Using my steel ruler and being very careful. Also was only printed, I didn't print more copies, that was, no, but in the end you can print, just add more on the file. It would have been a pretty smart thing to do, but I probably did it in the middle of the night, so smartness in the middle of the night don't really go hand in hand. In the middle of the night I should be sleeping, not farting around doing these things. There's a front number plate here, the rectangular one. We have to get it really nice and small, close, because there isn't much space on the bumper, because the bumper, it's right there, just above the front mounted exhaust. So we have to be really pretty close to the text. Okay, that's good. I'll have to also be careful not to tear them now. Huh? I'm using the cutter because we're working at an excessively small scale to be using scissors. So, using the cutter. And to make sure. Okay. Now, I'm going to turn the paper round to be able to actually work in a position. I'm right-handed, so I have to work in this way here. So actually, in this case here, I'll do one long cut, because we're there. Let's be careful. Not even zooming in, sorry, I mean, it's not exciting, it's just my excuse to make an excessively long video and then expect people to watch things that are too long. Let me know if you think my edited videos are too long, please, because I don't want to bore you. I mean, unless you watch them in installments. You can watch them before going to bed. It might help you fall asleep. Okay, right, that's that done. We're going to do the front plate now. Now I'm cutting this one off. The rear plate is nearly free. It's out. That one's out. And now as you can see, the rear plate is there. Let's not lose that. And let's cut. Yeah, I'm moving it out of harm's way. It's harm's way. It's right under the paper. It's very in harm's way. It's on the way to landing on the floor and never be seen again. And now we're going to cut this one out. There. Quick incision. Yep, there you go. Putting it out there, out of harm's way. Perfect. So we've got our two miniature number plates down there, and now we'll get them fitted to the lorry. Okay, let's get these number plates glued on. So the number plates are there. I don't know if you can see them, but they're there on the bit of foam, highlighted by this blue circle, green circle, whatever. So trust me, they're there. Maybe you watching this on a big screen, you can see them maybe better than myself. So I've got the tiny blob of glue and glaze right here, where I'm going to go, and I think we'll begin with a front number plate because potentially that one is actually easier. So the space for the front number plate is right here between the towing eye here. If you have to tow the lorry, this is a towing eye, you put a tow bar here, and the exhaust pipe. So right there. So I don't know if I'm doing the right thing with this thick toothpick, but I think I did it. So here's our number plate. putting on the glue, you just need to drop it in place, more or less, preferably more than less, and then you just convince it to go where you want it to go using a toothpick. And I'd say that looks rather good. Oh boy. So this is just printer paper, nothing special. Laser toner, laser printer, black toner. If you know, you can read it's AG 75 PEC, the number plate. So I decided AG is the county of Argeș, county of Argeș in Romania, where my wife is from. 75 is my year of birth. And PEC from PECO, because in Romania nowadays you have personalized number, you can have the personalized number plate like AG 75 PEC, or many people who have vintage classic cars, like vintage old Dacia 1100s or Dacia 1300s might choose. You have the provincial code, the two numbers, and then they put UAP from Uzina Auto Pitești, meaning Pitești Car Factory, UAP. So let's put the other one on at the back, which is just as simple. It might require a bit more centering. So I'd say to put it sort of centered here on the number plate holder. In the meantime, the glue's setting already. I'll have to put a clean drop. But really, you don't need much. You need very, 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 very diminutive quantity of glue. There's no point in putting, oh, that's even too much. It's nice and wet, so I'll do the job. There. That should be enough for that's even probably too much. Let's get the number plate. Yep, there we go. Drop it in place. And more generous with the glue this time compared to the front. Argeș 75 PEC. Now if I wanted to be absolutely silly, I could fit a wee number plate light on top of it with a very fine piece of styling, just to be completely fastidious. And you know what, I think I'll actually do it. So I'm pushing it down a bit so that I can actually do that. There. I've given myself enough space to fit the number plate light, because I've decided to go all the way, and so all the way we're going to go. Okay, Argeș 75 PEC and Argeș 75 PEC at the front. And I'd say that this is, we've finished this video here on the final detailing with the number plates and the reflective panels at the back. And the next episode will actually be really finishing the job with the ladder, okay, the number plate hole, the light, the reversing light, which will be actually easy and pleasant to do once I've decided where to fit the ladder, and the rear view mirrors, which I actually have. I don't even have to scratch build them, I've got them. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you did give it a like, subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell, and I'm looking forward to reading your comments. Cheerio, and see you next time.